This is Scott Becker with the Becker Business Minute, the Becker Private Equity Podcast. And the discussion today is learning to live with your asset allocation. When people allocate their assets, they're making choices. So one of the things that happens is some people make a conservative allocation of their assets, meaning they're heavily invested in cash and bonds versus stocks. And that may be fine. But what you can't be, if you're going to be in that category and you've chosen safety over optimization of the highest amount of appreciation of your portfolio, if you've chosen safety and conservativeness versus optimization of the highest actual potential outcome, you've got to learn not to have FOMO or the fear of missing out. So let's say you choose that you're going to have a more conservative allocation. That means when the market skyrockets, or really throttles up, you have to try and keep yourself in check from being upset that the market's going crazily up and your portfolio's not. The flip side is you do have to learn to embrace the situation when the market's getting trounced and your portfolio is only down a couple percent. You have to look at that as a real win. Either way, you have to embrace what you've chosen. And if you can't over time embrace what you've chosen, then you have to decide, do you want a different allocation of assets? Similarly, if you've chosen that you're going to go with a higher risk portfolio because you're looking for higher gains and upside in the long run, that is okay. But you also have to be able to live with that when the market goes down like it did last year. When the S&P goes down like 20% last year, you have to be willing to live with the fact that it's down last year, but I've made a long-term decision that over the long run, this is going to do better than a portfolio heavily weighted towards cash or treasuries. So it's really, the purpose today is not to encourage people to have one portfolio or another, but it's rather to learn to live with. You can't have the FOMO, the fear of missing out, when the portfolio does something that it's supposed to do, but you miss some of the upside of a different portfolio. You also can't cheer too loudly when your portfolio outperforms your peers because you've been more careful than them. But it's learning to live with the portfolio you've chosen is such a big part of long-term investment philosophy and planning. Thank you for listening to the Becker Business Minute, the Becker Private Equity Podcast. And thank you, as always, to the remarkable Jeremy Core and the Executive Podcast Solutions team. Thank you very much.